Hello there everybody and welcome back onto the channel, and by the thumbnail and the title of this video you must have figured out that this video is about winning close positions, and so let's hop right on. Take a look at this chess position and tell me, if you're right in this position, what would you play in this position? Now, many players will just simply put the bishop on the e2 square and go for the castling, and allow the opponent to develop naturally and have a slight advantage. That's what most of them say. But if you look in, not that, sorry, but in this position, what is in an advantage? Let me tell you how. Now, in chess, when there's a close position, you need to know how to attack. And for attack, you need to go forward with your pieces. For example, push the pawns. Get the bishop onto the enemy territory, which is considered as these 4 ranks. Now, there are multiple ways you can go onto the enemy territory. You need to open the files too for attacking. And mainly you want to attack on the king side, as that is where the king usually castles. If they castle onto the queen side, then attack over there. You just need to rush after the king. You need to remember that how many attackers and defenders are there. And I'll tell you what that's all about. What that all is about. Alright? So, remove arrows. Yep. Now, in this position, instead of making a passive move like bishop to e2, you want to be aggressive and play pawn to g4, or if you want to, or just to support your pawn, you can go rook to g1 first, as it supports the whole fucking idea of see, the rook is eyeing onto the king. So in future, you'll see the benefit of playing rook g1 earlier, alright? So now let's just consider your opponent plays normal developing, like knight to d7. Now you continue with g4. They can say maybe b6. You still continue on with the attack with h4. Now they might have realized that you are attacking them. They need to do something. Now if they go, and for to counter the attack, like to stop, they might try to go pawn to h5. Now in this position, you need to remember, if you take, it's not okay. The knight gets activity. The knight will come on to over here, and from there it eyes our squares, making us less space for to put our pieces onto. Like they will be in our territory, they will be controlling it. Also, there will be no good way to remove that knight. Like it will be an active piece. We have to trade off our mid-light square bishop for it. And even by that time, they could have brought reinforcement by this knight and coming on to over here. So you don't take it, and instead you go back with knight to h2. Now the reason why you play this move is simple, very simple, because look at the number of defenders and the number of attackers on the g4 and the h5 square. We see that only our pawn is attacking their pawn, but from their side, there are 2 defenders, which are the knight and this pawn. Meaning, if we take this pawn, then either of these pieces can be recaptured, but if they capture with the pawn, then we would have an advantage, and that would be good for us already. And so they would just recapture with the knight, so they get more space advantage and they can bring it to free later on. And so now when we move our knight back, now they are the one attacking our pawn, but we have so many defenders. Just look, but over here we see that they have 2 attackers and we have 3 defenders. So now if they take, we can simply We capture easily, and now we are the ones attacking them. We are the ones going h5. No, we are the one h5. Bishop 2 over there, bringing the bishop onto over here. Long castling and bringing the rook onto this file and pushing the f pawn. So see the benefit of them taking. See the benefit. So see how their take benefits us and not them. So that is why you need to remember the attackers must outnumber the defenders, and so if they take, then it's very winning for us. We can you win. You just need to be careful enough. Now let's say they just ignore it, completely ignore it. Now what we want to do? We want to put the pressure. Now if we immediately take, then it's the same thing. Two defenders, and now the queen is there, but the pawn is also there. So we put pressure. Onto this pawn. Now let's say they still don't care about their pawn. They just moved it and forgot about it. They are like 600 elo, and they go queen to e7. Now in this position, we want to recapture that pawn. We want to capture the pawn, not recapture, because they haven't captured ours. So we capture their pawn. They take. We take. They capture back, and now we capture. See what's the difference? Our queen is now onto their territory, and now it controls way more square, and it also cuts the king's escape to over here and over here. So in the future, if the king ever wants to run, the king would need to go to over here and would not able to be escaped from this side. That's a key control now. We have seen the advantage. That's outnumbered. See the reason why take advantage benefited us. Now let's say they just are 611 still, like they're think, oh, I lost some pawns and it's gone, and they just go f5 for them. It's a natural trying to open up our position in the whole attack, like this sort of thingy, trying to get advantage, like some sort of attack they can try. Like they want to try, so they go f5. In this position, we simply go bishop to over here, bishop to, you want to call this h6. Yeah, we simply went bishop to h6, attacking their bishop. Now if they are dumb and attack our bishop, thinking that when they take, thinking that they'll be able to recapture a bishop, and we take back, they can take the queen. That won't happen. But even worse, we would simply take their bishop with a check. Now, if they move their king, then it's a mate in a few moves. Also, we win their queen. That's another thing. So, if for their everything for not getting checkmated, they will sacrifice their queen. We simply recapture. Wait, we don't need to take with the rook, even though taking with the rook benefits us, because there was more space. But taking with the bishop is also fine. Taking the rook and also opening the king. See, way more better, beneficial space. Now there is a checkmate coming up, which they need to stop. Like, see, I forgot. So this is just the same line. I just went over here because I'm recording over here. Easy. So when just speed, I went to record that first. Now to stop the checkmate, they'll have to sacrifice their queen this way. Now we take back. They take the rook. Now over here, if you're there as white, you would be simply winning. And now to checkmate the king, like, of course, making a checkmate and attack and all. we need to bring more pieces into the attack. And how do we do that? We plunk it. So now this rook can come into the play, get onto these fives, this open row hold five, attack their pieces. Now they might also just take the pawn, like for being stupid. Now this move is not good. A knight's there. So they probably won't play that. But instead they might go bishop to a6, try to attack our this one. But we don't care. We simply give a check because forcing is. Now they move their king back. Now it's a very simple thing. A skewer, we check, and now we. No, not this. Of course not that. We take the rook. Now we're easily simply winning. Anyone who is greater than 100 elo can easily win this position. Like it's simple. Bring the rook, give a check. How to block their other option. They take. And if you are like me, trolling, so you can simply just take all their pieces, make them queens, and checkmate them later. So this was the position. You understand what I mean? Forward moves. Just take a look at the position before. Like come back all the way to the starting over here where it was closed, the center was closed, but where it was a closed position of a bit, but we generated an attack by going forward and checking if the number of attackers are greater than the number of defenders or not. Like these two key principles improved this gameplay. So like, and even though the opponents, even though I played moves from the opponent, like, which are very, winnable in front. Even if they played, some good moves, and then also they lose it. As root still is coming on forward, right? But the thing over is that your opponent is not strong first. They won't probably find the most best moves. So we could find some, but they're not at like 1800 and 2000 level. I'm talking about to you, lower 1000 rated people. So this is for you. You are under 1000 elo. The only thing you should know in attacking right now is to going forward and checking the number of attackers are greater than the number of defenders. Also, you need to learn tactics. And for tactics, there will be a video coming up soon. So you need to check that out too, alright? Till then, see ya.